Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
Tonight on News Hour. In partial compliance with NLC warning strike, banks, hospitals, courts, government offices, short as federal government, TUC agreed to resolve some labor issues. Bandits abduct 40, sack many farming communities in Taraba. Court grants restraining order as NNPP expels Kwankwaso. And from the international scene, France confirms talk with Niger junta over future of French troops. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Sumaya Abubakar. And now the details. Banks, courts and public offices were shut down in Kaduna State as the Nigeria Labour Congress began a two-day walking strike, or warning strike, beg your pardon. Now, some residents in the Kaduna metropolis who were stranded at some banks' entrance also lament that the strike is affecting their source of livelihood. Charles Davis Bello Musa has more.
This is the Kaduna State High Court. It is under lock and key. At the FRC and NTA Kaduna, it is total compliance, with workers picketing the entrance.
There's no activities. Nobody is allowed to go in and work. We are not everything is shut down.
The main entrance of the Borodiko Teaching Hospital is under lock and key, but people were seen accessing the hospital. It is worse at the banks, with customers having no access to bank services, a situation they said left them devastated.
I came to the bank. This is not the bank I intended to come. Initially, I have to go to the other bank, which is nearer to my residence, but I realized there's a network problem and the branch is closed.
Of course, obviously, transported to come here, and now I couldn't achieve anything. So it's really very sad. For me, these strikes, I don't know, they don't seem to be working.
Yes, they affect me because I want to use the cash to do something else with it. But now there is no network. And if you try to, maybe it can swallow your card. You can't get your card, Marcel. Maybe.
The warning strike disrupted power supply as activities were paralyzed at the Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company. The situation also halted the activities of local grinders of maize at the Ungwarshanu market in the metropolis. You can see how deserted the place is due to strike. Prior to the strike, our business was suffering due to subsidy removal. The chairperson of the Kaduna State chapter of the NLC, Ayuba Suleiman, said the warning strike is to tell the government that the Nigerian workers are suffering.
Well, what we're saying is simple, that our workers, the take-home cannot even take them to the nearest bus stop. So we are really in a peaks. We are being thrown to poverty, and our salaries cannot no more take care of our family.
So what I would call for the NLC and the federal government and the stakeholders to make a dialogue. Dialogue is the only option, to sit down on the table to find understanding and understanding where government will come in and where the labor will chip in, so that they have a standing order.
Behind me is the Kaduna State Secretariat. You can see the place is under lock and key, with workers stranded outside without having access to their offices. There is high level of compliance here at the Kaduna State Secretariat. From Kaduna, Bello Musa reporting for Trust TV News.
A two-day warning strike embarked upon by the Nigeria Labour Congress, the NLC, against fuel subsidy removal has recorded partial compliance at the Federal Secretariat in Abuja. Noel Samson, who monitors the strike, reports.
NLC President Joe Ajero on September 1st had announced the two-day warning strike after the NLC NEC meeting. The union said the warning strike will be followed by a total shutdown after 21 days if the government failed to address the niggling subsidy removal. A visit to the Federal Government Secretariat complex has in about 8 ministries revealed a partial compliance to the warning strike declared by the NLC. The environment that used to be a beehive of activities is rather quiet, with workers seen coming to their duties posts. 2 commercial banks located within the complex are also open for business, with customers coming to transact business. Most of civil servants who don't want to speak to camera said the two-day warning strike declared by the NLC took them unaware, hoping the unions will resolve their differences with the government. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, the two-day warning strike embarked upon by the Nigerian Labour Congress was greeted with mixed reaction from residents of Makurdi in Benue State. Jimmy Adzande reports that there was no total compliance as the usual vehicle or vehicular and human movement was seen in public places. The report.
Residents of Makurdi wake up on Tuesday to absent or skeletal bank and other public services in the state. Some of them said they did not see or hear any notice to that effect and so became stranded with their plans.
I came here this morning and discovered that the gates are locked, and we have been trying to beg those folks there to see how we can enter. They all refused, and we are frustrated here because we need to get money. Today is our popular Igidagba, the New Yam Festival, so I came here to get some money so that I can get some things for some friends and my family members. I'm not aware. And what's supposed to be is that if there was a circular, the bank's supposed to notify us. The bank didn't notify us. We came here and we are stranded. Now let me, you can see some other customers behind me.
Some were in support, while others condemned the strike action.
We have grown past strike now. We should look outside the box and think what will develop this country. Not strike always. Strike has put many people to their grave. So they should find a way to resolve their problem with federal government.
Leadership of the country, the president and the governors, we have not seen the concrete plan by the money they want to use to reach to the masses, and that will cushion the effect of that subsidy.
The organized labor says the warning strike became imperative because of the plight to the Nigerian workers.
Strike is the only option left for organized labor because during the protest, federal government made promises, and labor gave it a time to ensure that these promises were brought into actualization. The essence was simply because once the promises by federal government were carried out, the people were going to be alleviated from what they were passing through as a result of subsidy removal. But after some time, Labour saw that nothing was done despite the riot of promises that federal government issued out following the protest. So they decided to embark on a warning strike, 2 days warning strike.
The NLC said there will be a total shutdown if the government fails to implement the agreement reached between it and Labour to cushion the effect of the first subsidy removal on Nigerians. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Aviation unions have opted out of the strike due to an ongoing Universal Safety Oversight Audit Program. The Air Transport Services Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, the ATSEN, affiliated to Trade Union Congress, the TUC, has also refused to join the strike. The Director General Civil Aviation, Captain Musa Nuhu, has admonished all industry workers to stay off the 2-day warning strike by the Nigerian Labour Congress, the NLC, to sustain the ongoing international safety oversight audit in the country. Nuhu, in a memo to all the aviation workers, directed them to report at their duty post. He stated that failure to comply with this directive will be taken as sabotage of the International Civil Aviation Organization, the ICAO audit. Earlier, we had Daily Trust Aviation reporter, and he gave us an update.
The situation at the airport is not different from the situation in the state, in Lagos generally, because the strike is not being observed by a lot of organizations and offices and so on. And talking specifically about the airport, the aviation unions have made it categorically clear that they are not going to be part of the strike. And the flight operations are ongoing. Normally, there is no issue at all. People are going about their normal businesses and so on. The union said specifically was that there is an ongoing audit of the industry that is going on by the International Civil Aviation Organization. They call it ICAO Safety Oversight Audit, which is ongoing at the moment. So they say because of that, they will not be part of the strike. No, I don't think there was an issue of trade because we spoke with we have, first of all, we have various unions in the industry. We have the Air Transport Services Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, which is affiliated to TUC, the Trade Union Congress. And you know, the Trade Union Congress is not part of this strike. It is only being observed by the NLC. So AFCAN has come out with a statement yesterday that said, since the TUC, their affiliate, their sister organization is actually not going on strike, they will not be part of that strike. And apart from the AFCAN, we also have ANAP, Association of Nigeria Aviation Professionals. They also came up with a statement. We spoke with the General Secretary of the association, Comrade Seidu Abarasak, who confirmed that yes, they are aware of the strike. They are sympathetic with the NLC. But because of the current situation in the industry, the industry is currently undergoing an audit by ICAO. This is something that is done on every 3 years. And once they miss it this year, it will take another year. It will downgrade the rating of the industry. So they said because of this ongoing audit, they will not be part of the strike.
The two-day warning strike declared by the Nigeria Labour Congress, the NLC, recorded total compliance in Asaba, the Delta State capital. Jonathan Awanyai reports that the entrances of government offices were shut, with workers denied access to the premises. The report.
Asaba, Delta State capital, was at standstill on Tuesday as activities were grounded due to the two-day warning strike by the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC. Workers in various ministries, courts, and hospitals did not show up at their place of primary assignment. Similarly, the state secretariat was deserted as few workers were only hanging around the premises in numbers. Addressing newsmen, NLC State Chairman Comrade Goodluck of Obruku said the strike is total in the state. They demanded subsidy palliative from government to assuage the hardship occasioned by fuel subsidy removal. They listed some of the palliatives demanded to include tax reduction, increase in basic salaries, transport and other utility allowances, and provision of buses for transport at subsidized rates.
The National Executive Council of the Nigeria Labour Congress directed the two-day warning strike to protest against the shoddy way federal government is handling this issue of palliative. Okay, there are 52 unions in the Nigeria Labour Congress and we are totally united. If you go to Abraka, as I speak to you now, the university is shut down because the professors that work there, they are in NSC. The Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, they are in NSC. The non-academic staff, they are in NSC. They are shut down. So it's not as if we must agree with TUC before we do anything. That is not what the law says. The law says the affiliates of Nigeria Labour Congress,
the workers. So you can see, if you go around, you can see now the level of compliance here in Delta State is very, very high. It's very high. And when you go around, anywhere you go to, you feel the presence that today the Nigeria Labour Congress are really back on strike.
The NLC had last Friday declared two-day warning strike over current hardship caused by the removal of petrol subsidy. Jonathan Awanyai, Trust TV News, Asaba.
The federal government and Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC, have agreed to give government 2 weeks to address some of the grievances of the Congress. Minister of Labour and Employment, Solomon Lalong, disclosed this in Abuja at the end of a meeting with the leadership of Trade Union Congress, led by its president, Festus Osifo. A statement by the Director, Press and Public Relations, Olajide Oshundu, said the meeting was convened by the minister to resolve TUC's and Nigeria Labour Congress differences with government and to avert the pending warning strike by organized labour. According to Lalong, the issues for which a 2-week timeline was set for their resolution include wage award for federal civil servants to cushion the effect of rising poverty among them and tax exemption for a certain level of workers, both in the public and private sector. In security, over 40 persons, including women and children, were abducted by armed bandits that invaded several farming communities around Garbachedi area in Bali, local government area of Taraba State. Findings revealed that the bandits, said to be numbering over 200, have sacked many farming communities, forcing the residents to flee. Now, some of the affected communities include Garbatau, Meri Midankol, Gedang Hamidu, Langiwa, and Nainawa. Other farming communities sacked by the bandits in the area include Garingima, Bantaguru, Shadusa, Garimbose, and Mailabari, among several others. A resident of Garbachedi, Alidauda Garbachedi, told Trust TV that the hundreds of refugees, including women and children, have fled to Garbachedi town. Police spokesperson SP Usman Abdullahi confirmed the incident but said 14 persons were kidnapped according to the police records. Now, one road that is still dominated by acts of insecurity in Borno State is the road linking Maiduguri to Damboa. Now, this has negatively affected socio-economic activities of most towns in southern Borno, as dozens of travelers have been abducted by terrorists on the road. In this special report, Trust TV's Adamu Ngulde takes a look at the road, its present status, and its impact on the socio-economic life of the people and communities around it. The report.
Mala Amadou, a commercial driver flying Damboa Askira to Maiduguri, is one of the few persons who have survived the terrorist attacks along the Maiduguri-Damboa road in Borno State, northeast Nigeria. For over 4 years, since the road was declared open after being closed for over 13 months, he transported passengers through that road. For all those years, he was lucky to not be a victim of any of the attacks that took place. We have already suffered enough. The conflict has already done enough damage to our wealth. Now that we are ready to bounce back, the least the government can do for us is to ensure a safe and conducive atmosphere to thrive. Since the Boko Haram insurgents began in 2009, Maiduguri-Damboa remains one of the most dangerous roads in Borno State, as terrorists usually ambush travelers, killing and kidnapping many. In November 2018, the 187-kilometer road was closed for 13 months by the Nigerian army to enable troops to contain attacks of the Boko Haram terrorist group. It was, however, reopened by the state governor, Babagana Umar Zulum, represented by his deputy, Umar Usman Kadafur. Damboa is popular for fruits and vegetables business. It is one of the biggest suppliers of fruits and vegetables for Borno. However, the lack of safe roads is killing businesses. A businessman, Madu Kura, expressed worry over the incessant attacks on the road by terrorists. We really appreciate to Borno State government for his efforts to reopening these roads. Without this road, the only alternative for us to transport our goods is through Chibok, to Uba, to Michika, to Goza, to Bama, before Maiduguri. You can imagine the distance. Malam Modu owns an orchard in Damboa and has been selling fruits for over a decade. A trip from Damboa to Maiduguri costs an average of 2,500 naira, but alternative roads cost an average of 10,000 naira, a trend causing hardship for commuters. At the time of filing this report, over 20 trucks transporting goods to Maiduguri were stranded on the road as they awaited security operatives clearance. From Maiduguri, Adamu Ngulde, Trust TV News.
The Borno State Governor Umaru Zulum has averred that monitoring and evaluation is a key factor that is missing in governance and funds management. He stated this during the courtesy call by the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee probing the 2.3 trillion naira expended by TED Fund, out of which over 40 billion naira was allegedly spent on 6 institutions in Borno State. He encouraged the committee to also draft recommendations that would help guide tertiary institutions, including TED Fund, on how to utilize funds and manage resources under its watch.
It's a very important item that is missing in our governance, entire governance structure. So it is my sincere hope that the outcome of this investigation will add value to what heads of tertiary institutions are doing in the state, especially in the areas of managing the little resources that we are getting from TED Fund. Without the interventions of TED Fund, many institutions right now would have paid completely.
Petition that we have against TED Funds on how about 2.3 trillion naira was alleged, was abused, though it is an alleged for now until when we are done with our assignments. So on the strength of that petition, the House, in its wisdom, on the 14th of July this year, inaugurated this other committee to go around the entire country and ensure that the projects and programs on grounds are equal to the money released so far. And I promise Your Excellency, on behalf of my colleagues, that we are going to be very thorough and transparent concerning this assignment.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up, we'll take a look at how popular traditional sport is winning hearts of enthusiasts. This and more after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Hour on Trust TV. Here is a recap of our top stories. Report you in partial compliance with NLC warning strike, banks, hospital, courts, government offices short as federal government, TUC agreed to resolve some labor issues. And bandits abduct 40, sack many farming communities in Taraba State. Now moving on to more stories. In politics, a Kano High Court has voided the expulsion of the presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party in the 2023 election, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, from the party. The court, presided by Justice Usman Malam Naabba, on Monday ruled in an ex parte order and set aside the purported suspension of Rabiu Kwankwaso as a member of the party and restrained the Independent National Electoral Commission from recognizing the purported suspension, pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice. After hearing from the counsel to the applicant, YY Len Suleiman, Justice Naabba stopped the respondents or their agents from issuing press releases or granting interviews as national officers, leaders, or members of the applicant pending the hearing and determination of the case. The National Executive Committee of the New Nigeria People's Party, the NNPP, had expelled Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso following his alleged refusal to appear before the party's disciplinary committee. The Kogi Senatorial Election Tribunal, sitting in Lokoja, has sacked Senator Jibrin Isa, the Senate Committee Chairman on Customs, Excise and Tariffs. The tribunal, in its sack verdict, said the election in a 94 polling unit in the district was cancelled in the process. Consequently, the chairman of the tribunal, Justice K.A. Ojiako, ordered Independent National Electoral Commission, the INEC, to conduct a supplementary election in the affected 94 polling units in the district. The candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Victor Adoji, through his counsel, Johnson Osman San, had challenged the return of Jibrin Isa on the ground that the elections were cancelled in some polling units where the PVCs collected were more than the margin of Isa's win. The petitioner had pleaded with the tribunal to annul the election of Isa and ordered for a supplementary election in the affected 94 polling units in the senatorial district. In a unanimous judgment, Justice K.A. Ojiako agreed with the submission of the petitioner's counsel, Usman San, and annulled Senator Isa's victory, including withdrawal of his certificate of return to that effect. Ahead of the Wednesday's judgment to be delivered by the Presidential Election Petition Court, the Nigerian police has said that policemen across the country are fully prepared to maintain law and order. In a statement on Tuesday by Force Public Relations Officer Muyiwa Adejobi, the police warned politicians and mischief makers against misinformation and unguided utterances capable of inciting violence. The police said deployment across the length and breadth of Nigeria have been strengthened to forestall any breakdown of law and order in the country. The police urged citizens to embrace peace and maintain calm regardless of their political affiliations. Earlier on Monday, the Registrar of the Court of Appeal, Omar Bangari, said the tribunal will deliver its judgments on the cases before it, challenging the victory of President Bola Tinubu, the then candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC, in the February 25, 2023 poll. The Plateau State Police Command says it has arrested a driver named Sefiano Suleiman who allegedly killed his passenger, Jumai Emmanuel, and went away with her luggage around Fuskarmata community of Bassa local government area of the state. The State Police Commissioner, Okoro Julius, while parading the suspect at the headquarters of the command on Monday, said the victim chartered the driver from Saminaka to Jos, but stopped along the way and killed her. Narrating how the incident occurred, the commissioner said while they were traveling along Fuskan Mata Forest, the driver pretended that the car developed a mechanical fault, but when he noticed that the passenger was calling another driver, he violently hit the victim with a log of wood on the head and she died on the spot. He further explained that the said Safiano Suleiman was traced and arrested by the DPO, Dengre Division, SPTM Nambol, while he was about to sell off the victim's goods to one Surajo Al-Hassan. They were both arrested and on interrogation confessed to the crime. He said exhibits recovered from the suspects include the vehicle and some luggage belonging to the deceased woman. Now, operatives of Department of State Services, the DSS, on Tuesday nabbed some officials of State Emergency Management Agency diverting the palliatives meant for the citizens to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal. Some of the suspects arrested at a popular market in Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital, where the items were being resold, included officials of Nasarawa State Emergency Management Agency, NASEMA, and their accomplices. Spokesman of the Secret Police, Peter Afunaya, who disclosed the development to journalists in Abuja, explained that some of the diverted items have been recovered from the suspects. The Bauchi State government says using polling units across the 20 local council areas to share subsidy palliative is the best way to go. The secretary of the State Palliatives Committee, Hajara Yakubu Wanka, announced this to journalists during a press briefing to herald the distribution exercise scheduled to start soon. Trust TV's Adamu Imam was there and now reports.
The long-awaited distribution of palliatives to Bauchi State beneficiaries will soon commence as preparations are on top gear, according to the committee set up by the State Governor Bala Mohammed, which has already proposed modalities for distribution of 88,899 bags of rice.
This is not partisan, it's not politics, and the governor has been insisting, it's so particular, because to some extent you cannot run away from the fact that if a state government is headed by a social party, that there might be some interest. But in Bauchi in particular, governor has been very, very specific.
Responding to fears about politicizing the process, Hajar Wanka, who is also the current Commissioner for Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, says this is the way to reach people irrespective of their party's affiliation.
The distribution committee will be the most eligible committee that will go to the local government, that will go to the various local government and make sure that it has been distributed.
She also debunked rumors that the government has assigned other people to start collecting names across the state as beneficiaries even before the exercise kick off. Adami Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
In health, Vice President Kashim Shettima says there is an urgent need to step up the use of technology and research to discover sustainable solutions to the country's nutrition challenges. The Vice President, who spoke at State House Abuja while inaugurating the new National Council on Nutrition, stressed that there was a real connection between food and human security. Kainde Amodu reports.
The huge population of Nigeria has given rise to challenges in feeding the people. Yet it is not that there is a shortage of arable land, neither is it that there are enough hands to till the soil. The inauguration of the Nutrition Council is to start the process of harnessing the power of innovation and making prudent investments so as to fundamentally transform the nutritional landscape in Nigeria. Minister of Budget and National Planning Atiku Bagudu says the inauguration of the council will ensure further consolidation on the successes already recorded in the sector, especially the country's alignment with the global direction to develop food systems transformation pathways. He disclosed that the implementation of the priority actions in the food systems transformation pathways had commenced in all 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT. A healthy nation isn't just a happier one, but also safer. And this is the mantra the Vice President is adopting for this national assignment. The idea is that the quality of what Nigerians consume is just as important as the quantity of food available. In other words, to attain a nutritionally rich country, deliberate and equal attention must be paid to research, innovation, and most importantly, investment. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Experts have advocated an upscale in routine immunization in communities as part of efforts to achieve the country's target of eradicating polio. At the 40th Expert Review Committee for Polio Eradication and Immunization, stakeholders recommended measures for the government at the national and sub-national levels to maintain the status of a recorded rapid decline in cases. The report.
With a 95% decline in new circulating variant polio virus cases from 2021 to 2023, Nigeria is now channeling her efforts towards ending both wild and circulating variant polio viruses transmission, with special focus on the most consequential geographies where children are at the highest risk of contracting and spreading the virus.
We've been able to reduce the numbers of states where this infection is still circulating to just 4. So we've been able to really reduce this widespread circulation from 30 to 4 states, and within these 4 states to only 16 LGAs. There's insecurity in a lot of communities that makes it difficult for health workers to access communities.
When we come in contact with this disease, we develop some immunity, and then the diseases go down. But then as younger people come into the population, they don't have that immunity, and then the herd immunity reduces, and therefore those diseases can re-emerge.
Experts say absence of funding to facilitate the conduct of outbreak response within 7 days of receipt of lab results, facilitate deployment of handheld devices in the hands of community informants, and the need to take children vaccination seriously, among others, may hinder expected outcomes.
When the governors show the kind of commitment that we're seeing with them, then it is possible for the local government chairman to also take a cue from the governors and make sure that health workers go to the communities, and also ensure that community members have the right information, they're well educated about the importance of routine immunization.
It would be great if those children also received all EPI antigens regarding the diphtheria outbreak. It's an important lesson. So from our point of view, we need timely and accurate data, as always, but more timely and more accurate to guide the activities.
This time, we need to go all the way and make sure that we push ourselves to be able to give a final blow to this virus, which we now know is more confined to the Northwest.
The country has developed a comprehensive national polio emergency action plan to address the risks of all polio virus types in order to ensure Nigeria and the entire region's certification status is maintained. Recommendations made by the Expert Review Committee are aimed at aligning the NPEAP with the 2022 to 2026 Global Polio Eradication Initiative Polio Eradication Strategy. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The residents of Delta State have called on the state government to intensify efforts toward mitigating the impact of the imminent flood disaster in the state. They made the call in an interview with Jonathan Anyawai in Asaba on Tuesday. The report.
JACO followed the warning by the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, of possible flooding in some states of the Federation, including Delta State. The residents who spoke with Trust TV said there was need for the state government to be more vigorous in its sensitization campaign on the disaster.
God is already here with us. If you go to my area now in Asaba here, the people very close to the bank of the river Niger, they are no longer living well. Some of them have even left the place, evacuated their property. So government should look at this, provide a permanent solution to it. Let everybody that are very close to the river live there, and the government should, the money that they are voting for that flood of it, they should use it to make sure that there's a permanent structure. They should have lit the bank so that the water from the river will not encroach into the upland.
I don't think it's something the government should not be prepared for, because they know that this is an annual occurrence that used to come every year. So definitely the government is supposed to prepare for it. Not that they will vote large sum of money to curb this thing. At the end of the day, no result. And people are dying when flood occurs in Asaba.
Others said that the campaign should be continuous and more intense, especially in the coastal communities of the state.
If you have wide gutters, they should give instructions to all these construction companies who are involved in all the flood control. If they are doing all this like channels, gutters and all these channels where this water pass, they should making it wide, so that if the water is moving, it moves in a very wide dimension, so that they go to where they are. And when they do that too, you say that we are able to attend to all these problems.
They believe that those living in the coastal towns were still ignorant of the flood alert and the risk, while pointing out that the most affected areas were Okwe, Oko, Abraka Aziz of the state capital due to the proximity to the river Niger. They added that effects of the 2022 flood would have been minimal if citizens had been adequately sensitized. They urged the state government to take proactive steps and possibly prepare internal displaced persons (IDP) camps in the affected areas. Jonathan Awanyai, Trust TV News, Asaba.
You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. The news will return shortly. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. On the international scene, the French army is holding talks with Niger's military over withdrawing elements of its presence there following a coup, a defense ministry source said on Tuesday. There has been speculations that France will be forced into a full military pullout from Niger after the July 26th coup, which ousted French ally President Mohamed Bazoum. Some 1,500 troops are deployed in Niger as part of France's wider fight against terrorists in the Sahel. The country became a crucial hub for France after coups forced the withdrawal of French troops from neighboring Mali and Burkina Faso. Relations between Niger and France, the country's former colonial power and traditional ally, went swiftly downhill after Paris stood by the elected Bazoum and declared the post-coup regime as illegitimate. And in sports, Langa, the Hausa traditional sport, has always been known for promoting physical prowess and community engagement. The sport has developed into a game adopted by several states across the country and is played at the National Sports Festival. Residents of Kano State believe more attention has to be paid to promote the Langa to the status of other traditional and modern sports. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim reports.
This type of Langa involves 6 contestants on either side with 6 substitutes. The objective is to prevent a member of one of the teams referred to as Rua from making a run to the opposing side. The Rua scores points for his team by evading all 6 opponents with the help of his 5 teammates. The defending team scores a point for preventing the Rua to reach the destination with some attackers displaced. The young contestants engage in friendly yet intense bouts, showcasing their strength, agility and tactics.
Na fara kuma da wasan makaranta ne FC Kano da muke na Nasiga National Sports.
I have been involved in this sport since I was very young. I represented FC Kano at Nasiga Games, after which I was invited to play for Rivers State. I won silver and bronze medals for Rivers State as a coach, which earned me a contract with the state government. States like Lagos, Cross River and even Bayelsa have once contacted me to recommend players. A lot of advancement I made in life was because of this Langa.
Kamar Lagos, Cross Rivers.
I am one of the players of Bayelsa Langa team. I have played against teams from various states in National Sports Festival qualification. However, here in Kano, we only organize such games like this one just to celebrate. While Langa Hausa sport continues to captivate hearts, modern challenges have emerged. The rise of modern sports pose threats to the preservation of these traditions.
A Hausa muna da wasanni wanda ya kamata mu dabbaka shi.
There are some Hausa traditional sports which we are supposed to preserve. Our hope is that this game of Langa can become as organized and known world over like football is well known. We have inquired from the relevant authorities why Kano State does not have a Langa team, but we have never gotten a tangible answer.
Gaskiya ne dalili shine na farko coach ba mu da coach wanda
Yes, this is very true, and it is because we don't have a coach presently. The person who we have here who is very experienced in Langa is a referee, so we don't have a coach to actually groom the players right now. Although we agree that Langa is supposed to be promoted to a sport that can go as far as Dambe and other traditional sports have done.
Kuma ya kamata a ce kamar yadda ake damben nan shi ma ana yin sa.
Certainly, a glimpse into the vibrant world of this Hausa traditional sport should remind the people of the importance of celebrating the traditions that bind them together. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News.
Let's now join Adeni Ajishafe for more sports news.
The experienced quartet of Ugochukwu Dixon, Perpetua Wana, Khadija Folawiyo and Sekina Alawode retained their titles as Bobsled and Skeleton Federation of Nigeria concluded its Today Push Championship at the National Stadium, Surulere, Lagos. It was an opportunity for the Federation to rank and assess athletes who will represent Nigeria at international competitions. Ugochukwu Dixon defended his Brakeman Champion medal, while Sekinat Alawode retained Women's Brakeman title. Khadija Folawiyo maintained her dominance in Women's Skeleton title as Uwana finished well to win in Women's Bobsled Drivers event. 39 athletes participated in the Push Championship to indicate the growth of bobsled sport in Nigeria. And in weightlifting, 6 Nigerian weightlifters and 3 officials have departed Lagos for Riyadh, Saudi Arabia for 2023 International Weightlifting Federation IWF Championship. The championship, which also serves as Olympic Games 2024 qualifiers, will run till 17 September. Nigeria will participate in 6 categories at the championship with Folashade Lawal and Adijat Olariyoye, who both won 3 gold and 3 silver medals, respectively, at the 2023 Senior African Weightlifting Championship in Tunisia. We compete on 7th in the 59 kg women's category. Edidion Gumofia will compete in the 73 kg men's category on 8th September, while Akano Desmond will take his turn in the 89 kg men's category 2 days later on 10th September, while Ayodele Root and Eze Joy Ogbene in 64 kg and 71 kg women's category will compete on 10th September. 2023 IHF Championship has a record entries of 117 countries participating, with 719 lifters made up of 365 men and 354 women. That's Sport News. I'm Adeniyi Ajishafe.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, has urged youths across the country to be more united and contribute their quota to national development and the nation's prosperity. The minister gave this charge in Ibadan, where he led a delegation to the immediate family of the late designer of the Nigerian flag, Pa Taiwo Akinkumi, who passed on recently. The report.
It's his first visit of the Minister of Information and National Orientation to Ibadan, and he is here to meet with the immediate family of the late designer of the Nigerian flag, Pa Taiwo Akinkumi. On arrival, he went straight to the office of the governor to intimate authorities about the purpose of his visit.
We all know that he didn't just create the Nigerian flag, he was also in the civil service, he was in the agricultural sector, he was an engineer. And we also know that he became an honorary fellow of the President of Nigeria. And so this Pa Taiwo Akinkumi wasn't just another man that came and left. He was indeed a nationalist, a patriotic Nigerian.
On behalf of His Excellency the Governor of Oyo State and the good people of Oyo State, we appreciate His Excellency the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, for sending this high delegation to Oyo State to commensurate not only with the family of the deceased, but the people and the government and good people of Oyo State.
The minister and his entourage thereafter met with the immediate family members of the late Pa Akinkumi at his Elebu residence, where he described the late flagman as an iconic Nigerian whose contribution to national development remains indelible, and charged young Nigerians to emulate the virtues of a deceased civil servant.
Let our youth believe in this country like Pa Akinkumi did. Let them know that the renewed hope agenda that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is putting forward is for all of us to come together to live in peace and unity, and to also develop programs for Nigeria's prosperity.
The late Pa Taiwo Akinkumi, who passed on in the early hours of August 29, 2023 in Ibadan, was born on the 10th of May 1936.
And with that, we wrap up News Hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms, and you can join our YouTube Live for more news, program, and documentaries. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.
Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.